Uachtarán, a Green-Schools Expo, President, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, students, boys and girls. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Michael John O'Mahony, and I'm absolutely delighted to be able to introduce you to our keynote speaker for today, Uachtarán and Michael D. Higgins. I'd like to introduce Uachtarán, Michael D. Higgins.
Well, a Green-Schools an gédal sios tá súlam go bhfuil si bhan an me a clistal agus is mín le ma vícas a gháil if galéra sachtan firkin fáilse daris if Romain is Rev ma van Kayla. I just want to say some few things that are very important, I think. To say first of all, Tres Liam Lever Gakra the Tosh of Yanavar Sanan Teamplug. I want to congratulate all of you for what you are doing for the environment. Really, the first Green-Schools Expo here in the RDS is incredibly important. Let me just say, I think there's, and even those people there on the back right-hand side, the message is important for them as well. It is that since I became president on the 11th of November 2011, maybe the two most important things that happened last year in 2015. One was that 195 heads of state signed up to an agreement on climate change in Paris. And the other, equally important, was that in New York, the heads of the countries of the world, 200 just about, signed up to Sustainable Development Goals. A number of development goals that were very, very important and that had 169 targets. What was this? It was the whole world coming together to realize that we cannot go on taking the risks with our planet that we have been taking to now. And the second is that we cannot go on accepting levels of global poverty, of discrimination against young girls and women, of having gender violence, all of these. We agreed that in 2015, and all I can say is, this is the question everyone was asking afterwards. How are we going to put all this into effect? And I cannot think of a better way of putting it into effect than explaining it as all of the children and their teachers in the schools are doing. I just think that it's a marvelous, marvelous way of practically achieving a sustainable form of development that will eliminate poverty, give all the children of the world into the future generations, a chance of living lives in dignity. And then most of all, of respecting all the forms of life that are on our planet. And what's marvelous is to see this. Why I spend such time on the exhibits is to see the way that people are able to handle the different things that they're making. And what great respect they have for all the things that you can do when you respect nature. Now, the issues that were raised in all the different pieces of paper that were there, they're at once local and they're global. Because just a few weeks ago, I visited some of the areas that were very badly affected by the recent flooding. And sometimes media people would ask me about someone whose house had been flooded, was she very angry? And I said, no, she was very sorrowful because it had happened to her, and it would happen again and again and again. And I could share that. So flooding and all the damage that has been done to all the careful homes that people have constructed happens locally. And then globally, I have in so many different countries, in my own life even seen the extent of desertification, where people now have to bring their animals wider and wider circles, creating conflicts, where whole areas can no longer produce food. So these issues of climate change are both local and they're global. Present in Paris were people who will have to decide on the atolls as whether they have to leave where generations have lived. So I think it's a marvelous, one thing is to note the importance of it. The next is to take the two decisions globally as we did in 2015. But the next now is for everybody to know about it. And the children are going to be wonderful because this generation that has produced the teachers that have advanced the green flag movement, and fair play to Tashka right there at the development of it, consistently all the time, so many of these flags, and working together with all the different government departments that are there on an interagency basis is so important. I think the responsibility we have is just not to stop doing things the way we did, because that's a bit negative, but to do things differently and to share our fragile planet in such a way as that we will hand it on, as Leonard Cohen might say, better than it was before. And it's possible to do that. And then what's important, sometimes people think, is will there be some big decision that will do it all for us? The answer is that it is from all the little pieces done together as citizens of the world that it will all piece by piece come to be better than before. So tá an taire éróide tá sé dábhachtach go dócha méid na nehis na céimne atá ag teastáil a beisiad banatha na nehi beaga. I think that climate change, one of the great challenges of our time, it took brave and wise decisions from world leaders to take a decision. But now, in March, we're deciding how are we going to measure how we're getting on. And all of the work that's going on in this exhibition here will be valuable contributions to us measuring our own behavior and the behavior of our neighbors, and most importantly, encouraging others. There's a role for us all. There's a role for world leaders, for parliamentarians, for public intellectuals, academics, and all of others, and all of yourselves. And this, I said at the Young Scientist exhibition, this has been a great victory for science because there were enormous volumes of money invested in trying to obstruct the science that drew our attention to climate change. And it was science that stuck to its guns and delivered us a truth and said, you must do it differently. And thankfully, their view prevailed rather than the money that would have suggested we can continue as we are. I think there are so many small things that we can do. The great emphasis is on recycling. Isn't it great to see something put to several uses, to know that it isn't just used once and then thrown away? There are great reductions we can do in what we consume. And then there are also other things we can do by making connections between different forms of activity. I've just given a long interview because the President's Cup is on in Cork on Saturday about the importance of soccer. But it's important in many ways that we stay healthy, and therefore all those encouragements to walk to school, to cycle, to not use cars when we needn't use them, to be responsible about this. And my hope about it is that sport would never be seen as something extra on the margins that you do, but right there at the center of positive health. And when we have positive health, we are able then to spend even more on the environment and on the quality of life that we all want for future generations. I think as well, there's something important in all of this that came out of Paris and New York. Isn't it great to be able to say that when you children are growing up, that this is something you did together with children and adults and citizens from all over the world. all of us on this planet sharing a concern for climate change and for the environment. Reconnecting, this is the most important. In South America, they call it the Madre Tierra. Reconnecting with nature in a way that will enable us to build the symmetries that will release the best of our lives. And that's a great, great introduction for eliminating conflicts. The conflicts coming down the world in the next decades are about resources like water. So therefore we have to address the issues globally in relation to the resources of the world. And we cannot keep extracting from the world resources for the benefit of a few, while so many communities in Africa and Asia and South America are starving. But look, the good news is this. Today, 93% of Irish schools participate in this programme. Over 3,000 schools have been awarded the green flag. And that means that the vast majority of Ireland's school-going population is actively involved every day in protecting and preserving our environment. Not just getting the flag, keeping the flag. Tres liam leis na dinioga, leis na tishmori, leis akahore, leis na montori, atá ag tior cian rodíocht san ábhar seo. I so congratulate everyone associated with this. And I know that all of this that's going on in the schools, it makes its way into the home. And therefore you're bringing the lessons home. I want you just so thank you as President of Ireland. Ireland has the highest participation of all the different nations that are participating in this programme. And let me just say, you'll hear a lot during this year. We're going to be celebrating the founding moments of our state, recalling the events of 1916. One thing, everyone is in agreement that those who believed in our independence and our freedom had a vision. And now you have your vision. And your vision is the sustainable world, the responsible climate, the kind of citizen that consumes with responsibility. People who think long, people who think beyond the self, people who are appalled at violence, people who will end gender violence before they even leave school, who will achieve all of this. So you have a great, great vision. And the 6 themes chosen for this exhibition are marvellous. Litter and waste, energy, water, travelling responsibility, biodiversity, and global citizenship. I think the Eco-Schools family, it now includes 50 countries across the world. Eco-Schools initiative exceeds 11 million, and the number of schools involved is 40,000. That is a very, very great beginning. A concrete comment to the end, then may I say, it is so appropriate. I want to thank Dr. Michael John O'Mahony, Antashka Environmental Education Unit Director, but all of the others at Kauru Lesh, everyone else who has been working with him, for the invitation to come and speak to you at this expo. And I want to thank my old friends. So often I was present in the past at the raising of their flags. Antashka, Namuntori, and teachers, I tell you as President of Ireland, not only I, but so many now and into the future will thank you for the extra work you do in encouraging children. I see it again and again at the Young Scientist. I see it in the choirs. I see it in all of this. Just know it is deeply appreciated. And it is important not just by me, it will be appreciated into the future. So garamila mahake galir is going banactari eroniracti. Newan san winter neherin, san winter nadan. It is for the future citizens of the world, able to live in peace, sustainably, doing new and exciting things together, living creative lives. You're giving a powerful example. Keep it going, and every success. Garamila Mahake.